the Huskies in your city recap and roles expectations for the year. So just a reminder, we'll go ahead and reintroduce ourselves again. My name is Patrick Walker. I'm the Director of Alumni Relations, Regional Engagement. I've been with UConn now for 3 years, working with 6 of our alumni networks. We'll go ahead and turn it over to Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. My name is Sarah Lamazzo, Assistant Director of Alumni Relations, Regional Engagement. I get to work with many of you across the country, across my 10 different networks. But yeah, so happy that you're on the call tonight.
We'll go ahead and have James.
Hi, everyone. I'm James Kenny. I'm another Assistant Director of Regional Engagement. I oversee many of you, and I very much enjoy working with you on these programs. And I'm happy to talk it all over with you again tonight.
Great. And Josh.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, especially to our newest volunteers across the country. Thank you for all you do. Josh Prue, Assistant Vice President of Alumni Relations. I get to work very closely with this team and many of you, and I've gotten the opportunity to work with many of you for many years. Thank you to all of you who continue to carry the flag for UConn across the country. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Good.
Great, and that's also, Josh, a great segue. I do want to personally welcome our newest regional volunteers that have joined us since July 1st. We have a total of 11 new volunteers from across 7 networks across the country. So we're excited to have some new folks involved and getting them actively involved, and always using it as an opportunity to let other folks know as you're meeting with folks either at events or if you're having personal meetings with any UConn graduates. If you know anyone that's interested in getting more involved, please contact your liaison and let's come up with a strategy to get them on board. There's many ways to be involved, either as being a regional volunteer. There's also our affinity groups. We'll be talking about the admissions volunteer program here shortly, our career center as well. So there's lots of opportunities there for folks to get involved. So at this time, I would like to go ahead and turn things over to Vern Granger. Vern is the Director of Undergraduate Admissions and has been with UConn for 7 years and has over 20 years of experience in the world of admissions at other institutions as well. So he's got a lot of knowledge, and he's going to be sharing some information about the incoming class and ways that folks can help out with the admissions program. So Vern, welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it, Patrick, and thanks for the invitation to get a chance to meet with you all. I wish it was in person. Hopefully, I get the opportunity to meet many of you out on the road when we're out doing recruitment events or when you're on campus. And I appreciate the invitation to come here and speak to you about some updates in admissions and then share some things about our admission alumni program that we're very, very excited about. And we hope that some of you may have an interest in participating in this program because it is a great opportunity. One of the many ways that you as an alum can give back to the university and help recruit future Huskies to come to the campus. So if you go to the next slide. Whenever I do a presentation like this, I think it's important to make sure to hit home the point that when we talk about UConn, we like to talk about that one UConn experience. And so you can see a map on the screen that has all of our UConn campuses. Obviously, Storrs is the main campus, and that's where most of the students who are enrolled as undergrads at the university are at. But we have students all over the state, and we're really proud of that dual designation that we have, the flagship that represents the preeminence in the state, and then the land grant, which represents our commitment to providing educational opportunities. And so our Stanford campus to the south, not that far from New York City. It is a fast growing campus, and it has that added appeal of being so close to New York City. Stanford and Hartford are the 2 campuses that do have residence halls now available. And so those are great features for students who are looking at those type of opportunities. And then we have our Waterbury campus, which is to the west, and then our Avery Point campus, which is down on the coast. And all of those provide that great one UConn educational opportunities. Again, the New York, Boston, being sandwiched in between those two markets is something that obviously is a great appeal to students. So go to the next slide. So just some high-level data to share with you about the incoming class. You can see on the upper right, 63,000 applications. That represents a record number of applications that we received for first-year admissions consideration. That is a record, and that surpassed last year's record of 59,000 applications. So just continues to grow, over the 7 years that I've been here. Remember when I first started at the university, we got a little over 30,000 applications, and just in the 7 years, we've seen tremendous growth. And you all are a big part of that. The work that you do, spreading the word, your commitment to the university plays a part in the great demand and appeal of the university. So again, I can't thank you all enough for your work and your commitment to the university. Some other data points to share, the 10 schools and colleges, 118 different countries that are represented at the university. That bottom right statistic is something we're very proud of. 4.1 years to graduation, and that represents when a student starts at UConn to the time that it takes for them to graduate. And that represents one of the best years of graduation in the country. And it's something we're proud of. Again, it speaks to that access, commitment, our focus in getting students in, giving them a great experience, and then allowing them to leave in a timely manner, which is something that we're very proud of. If you go to the next slide. Just some other data points. Again, I mentioned that 118 countries. Something we're very proud of is the fact that our commitment to diversity. You see 45% of our students who are enrolled at the Storrs campus are from racial and ethnic minorities. And something else we're proud of, again, speaking to that land grant commitment, 36% of our students are first-generation college students. And so we're very, very proud of our commitment to diversity. It is represented in our mission statement, and it's represented in the student experience. And it's something when we talk to students all over the place, it's something that we really start our message and our focus in letting students know about our commitment to diversity. If you go to the next slide. Just want to share some data on the incoming class compared to last year. That bottom number represents the total number of new students who enrolled at one of the UConn campuses as an undergrad student. So about 50 more students compared to last year. So we continue to see that growth. You can see the number of first-year students at the Storrs campus. That number continues to increase. And then all of our different populations of students who are enrolled at the university. And by the way, this presentation is available to you all. I believe they're going to be sharing it with you afterwards. And so you can have these slides at your convenience to be able to take a look at these numbers that I'm going over. If you go to the next slide. One of the things we're really proud of is our growth in students from all over the country. Right now about a little less than half of the students are coming from outside of the state of Connecticut. And again, our appeal continues to grow. And you can see the countries, the top sending states and territories for this class and where they came from, Massachusetts being the top sending. But you can see, states like California represented. You can see territories like Puerto Rico representing in our top sending places. And again, it's something that we're proud of. We talk about diversity in many different forms, and one of those is by our geographic diversity. And you can see representation in our incoming class. And if you go to the next slide. Many ways for students to connect with the university. And so that you can see a website at the top of the screen. Please, if you could get the word out to potential students about all the different ways they can learn about the university. We have our second fall campus visit day, our big open house program on the Storrs campus this coming Saturday, but we also have those programs on all of our regional campuses. Same with our UConn bound days for admitted students. Our on-campus programming, whether it be our Husky for a Day or our campus and academic tours. And we've been increasing our virtual footprint to be able to provide many learning opportunities for students, many on-demand content, many virtual events that are scheduled, and you can get all of that information by visiting that website at the top of that screen. And if you go to the next screen, I'm very excited to see that note from Tiffany that you're going to be a part of our Fall Campus Visit Day next Saturday. Um, and the final thing I want to just share with you before I stop and take any questions, as I mentioned, our admissions alumni volunteer program is something that we want to get the word out about. It's an opportunity for you as an alum to give back and assist in our recruitment and yield efforts. And on the screen, you can see some of the different ways that you as alums can volunteer, whether it be meeting with prospective students and families at college fairs, connecting during one-on-one chats, reaching out via email, phone, or mail, or attending our admitted student events and our different summer receptions. And so the website on the bottom of that screen is where you would go to go ahead and sign up to participate in the program, and you can indicate the different ways that you want to play a part in participating in this program. Caitlin Benjamin is our contact in our office who coordinates the program, and you can see her email address on the screen. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. But I hope that this is something that is of interest to you all. We have a great collaboration with our colleagues in the alumni office, and this is one of the ways that we collaborate in helping to be able to give back to the university and recruit those future Huskies who are going to be able to come and take advantage of the many opportunities, wonderful opportunities that you all took part in when you were a student at the University of Connecticut. So admissions alumni program, great opportunity for you to get involved. So if you go to the next slide. Again, this is my email address and our one-stop student services center. I put that on there because that is the office that students, if they have questions, they can call that number or go to that website to get more information about the programs and other aspects about the university that they want to learn more about. And my email address is on the screen, and I encourage all of you, if you have questions for me just about our admissions process or just anything in general about admissions at UConn and the work that we're doing, I would love to hear back from you. And again, feedback that you may have, or just again things on your mind, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And so those are the slides that I had. I wanted to make sure to leave some room for at least a few questions that you might have. I know you all have a packed agenda, but I'd be happy to take a few questions that you may have about some of the information that I spoke about.
Thanks again, Vern. And I think again, like we talked about, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to share the story with UConn and everything that's going on. There's many ways to get involved, and this is another perfect opportunity for folks that are looking to help out students. This is a great opportunity to do so.
Yes.
Hi, this is Stacia Ortega. I'm in Arizona. I have a quick
Hey.
question, Vern.
Yes. Yes, please.
It's been a minute since I've been at UConn.
Uh-huh.
Love for Huskies, of course, never goes away. But do you guys provide any kind of packets, informational, so I can recruit some Arizonas for geographic expansion?
It's very, very excited. Yeah, very excited to hear that. So the website on that previous screen, and again, we're going to send this presentation out to you. If you would go to that website and you would be able to see all of the different ways that you can assist in our efforts. And as a part of the work, there is training that we provide for our alumni volunteers, again, to make sure that you are providing the appropriate information and being able to answer questions and knowing where to refer students to if they have additional questions about the university. So that website is very detailed.
Okay.
It provides you an opportunity to enter your information and sign up if you have an interest. And after we receive your information, Caitlin or a member of our team will reach out to you to talk about those things as well. Same thing. I
Perfect.
see Michael
Thank
sent an
you.
email, a text about in Texas. Again, phone calls, fairs. We are looking for folks to do as little or as much as you have the time that you can make that commitment to. So we try to make it as easy as possible for you to get engaged. We have opportunities. There are programs that we learn about, that we know about all over the country. Some of the programs we're able to go to, and we would love for alums to join us at those programs. But then there are some programs that we're not able to get to, or there are can't letter writing campaigns or card writing campaigns or phone calls that we're not able to get to all, 65,000 of the applicants. And so hearing from you all is something that we know is something that's going to make a great connection, because you all are somebody who actually lived the experience at UConn. You can talk about how UConn had an impact in your life. And that's why we're so excited about this admissions alumni program. And we want to try to get you all involved. We find out about these programs, we get invitations for them, and we collect all of those. And when we find those opportunities, when we're either going to be in an area and asking for one of you to join us, or again, depending on your comfort area, if you're able to attend the program, we would cover obviously all the registration costs, and we would mail you materials. And again, as a part of it, there would be some training. So we would not just send you out cold turkey and tell you to, provide things about our admit rate and what's a competitive student. We would obviously make sure that you're prepared with that information. But again, as little or as much as you are able to give of your time, that's really what we're looking for with this program.
Can you hear me, Vern, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in Dallas, okay?
Yeah.
And Texas is going through, I won't go into the deep politics of it. I think that most of us know. But Texas is going through a lot of changes, and kids are looking to actually go out of state.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of them that are looking to do that because what is going on within the Texas college system is becoming a lot more restrictive. So if there's anything going on in the greater Dallas area, I would be more than happy to help, or certainly phone calls, or if you had a fair, I would be thrilled to do it. I'm an old guy, but
But you're an alum, and you can absolutely be able to share your experiences about why UConn is a great place for a student, particularly somebody who is from Texas and may be thinking about, they may have concerns about going so far, or
right.
may have questions about what is life like in the Northeast, all of those things. And that's why you all are so valuable, because again, you attended the university. You can talk about your experiences, and those are the type of connections that are really the most impactful. So there are plenty of opportunities for you all to get involved, and going to that website, letting Patrick, Josh, the team know. We absolutely welcome you all to participate. So
I'd be thrilled to. No,
so
I
yeah,
really would. And
yeah,
certainly any way possible. I mean, have to work it around some things that we're doing in our lives, but yeah, in a heartbeat.
yeah.
Plus I'm a ridiculous diehard anyway. I love this school. I live and die this school. It's really sad, but it's
Well,
true.
there are worse
So-
things that you could make a claim to.
Oh my God. Yeah, for sure.
I saw somebody make a post, a question about Avery Point. This program, we do recruitment for all of our UConn campuses. And so, that's why I really like starting off with that opening screen about the one UConn experience. And so, getting the word out about all of our campuses. And we're seeing an increase in out-of-state students who are enrolling at our regional campuses. And so, again, another way that you all can assist us with those efforts.
Hello, Vern.
Yes.
Frank Sebastian in Orlando. I missed the first couple of slides, but what's the out-of-state tuition these days?
Say that again.
Out-of-state tuition?
Yeah, our tuition and fees for out-of-state student is somewhere around 40,000.
Oh, okay.
Before any financial aid. that is available to a student.
And that was my second part of the question. What percentage would you say of the students get financial aid?
Is 70% of the
Wow.
students who are enrolled at the university are getting some type of gift aid. Now, obviously, not all of them are getting full cost of attendance scholarships, but
Right.
a good chunk of them are receiving some type of gift aid. And gift aid is the good kind because you don't have to pay that back.
Yeah, no, great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Again, I know you all have a full agenda, and again, I want to be respectful of the agenda and the time that you all have. But again, we welcome you all participating and being a part of this program. And so again, Patrick, thank you for giving me time on the agenda to come out and speak to you all. And again, my email address is on the screen, so please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or again, tips, suggestions, things for us to be thinking about as we continue our outreach of future Huskies to the University of Connecticut.
And Vern, again, thank you for your time. You're more than welcome to stay on for the call, but we'll go ahead and jump into the rest of the agenda. But thank you.
Thank you all. And I have to jump off for another commitment right now, but thank you all very much and have a great one.
You too. Thank you.
All right, take care.
So, yeah, appreciate his time there. We want to go ahead and jump into the rest of the agenda. Some of you may have seen this. We rolled this out earlier this month, but we're going to be looking to spotlight volunteers throughout the year, once every quarter. So we are spotlighting our 3 volunteers that helped through the summer programs into early August. Again, want to recognize Brianna, Geraldine, and Rebecca for their help in leading some of our programming taking place in Southeast Connecticut, Fairfield County, and Washington, D.C. Again, a lot of programming that's taking place, but without the volunteers, we wouldn't be able to engage as many folks as possible without the help of you all. So we're going to continue having these spotlights once every quarter. So when we have our next call in the wintertime, you'll see a new round of faces on here that we'll recognize and give shout outs to for the work they've done to help engage our alumni base. And now I want to go ahead and turn things over to Josh, who will provide an update on the Because of UConn campaign.
All right. Well, thank you, Patrick, and special shout out to the 3 stars that we just highlighted. I know I've known many of you for many years, and one of the things that we found is that we don't do enough thanking of you, and you probably have heard me say that for years or thank you all the time, but we still don't think it's enough. So we want to take an opportunity to go ahead and do that. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all of you, but a huge shout out to those 3 who've stepped up and really moved the needle for us this fall. And hopefully you are all motivated to step up and nominate some of your peers that you see doing the extra efforts and the work. Just send that over to your liaison, get that rolling. We want to make sure we can highlight as many of you as we can. But even if we don't, know what you mean to all of us and what you do to move the message of UConn and what we're doing forward across the country and where you are. So huge thanks to all of you. Now on to the news here that I'm here to share about. This was as of obviously last week. Some updated details here. You're getting to see some behind the scenes, behind the curtain kind of things here. We have a various array of dashboards and statistics that we track that help us understand whether or not we're getting close to our goals. We'd be shocked, I'm sure you all are shocked, I should say, to hear that we work for a fundraising organization. So one of those things is to understand, are we making or filling the need of the institution by reaching our campaign commitment? And you may recall $1.5 billion, that's B with a billion with a B. We are getting close to breaking that threshold that we all never thought would be possible of getting to ourselves to that $1 billion endowment, slowly but surely. That's one of the goals we have. But as of last week, we were at $787,925,000. That's pretty impressive. Now, again, to recap, this is since about 2021. We've been in this campaign. Many of you have heard us talk about, and if you work for philanthropic or nonprofit organizations, oftentimes what happens is there's a silent phase to this campaign. So you all have been privy to the conversation that we've been having about this for many years. And obviously in April, we made that public for everybody to understand what we are doing and kind of where our excitement is being focused on. So $787 million of 200, sorry, of 100, 1.5 billion. Now, you see another number up here of 31% engagement rate. This is why the team has talked to you, and you've heard us say, for those of you that have been with us for many years and those of you that have just joined us, this is why we ask you to track who attends, to reach out to folks on our behalf and send emails and everything to the sort. And we ask you for some details. The reason is we track all of that. You probably have heard us say those that are more engaged are more likely to contribute philanthropically at some point, whether that's $5, $5 million if you have the ability. But we track all of that, and participation helps us to generate this number here. And we actually use this number to help gauge ourselves as to whether or not we're doing a good job in comparison to many of our peers. Our professional organization used to track U.S. News and World Report's rankings based on philanthropic participation of undergraduate population. This is the new metric that they're gauging whether or not we are a top tier institution and can get ranked higher and higher. They've gone away with that undergraduate participation in philanthropy, and they've looked at this number now. So we're looking at this as one of our key metrics that we have in our space. And to do that, under the campaign, we've determined that, you know what, it's not just about raising money, it's about engaging people in the life and basically lifeblood of the institution. So that's where you're going to see this campaign instances, engagement instances, and that's everything that you are doing for us and helping to engage people across the country. So 907,000 people, we have said, okay, if we're going to raise $1.5 billion, can we get 1.5 meaningful engagements with the institution? And we're at 75% of our goal already. So we could not be there if it was not for the work that all of you do in your various networks, in your cities and your towns, and the outreach that you've done, participating in the alumni admissions program, you name it. We're tracking those pieces in those meaningful instances of engagement that we have with the institution. So, as you can see, 907,000 to go, or there, I should say, and obviously 75% to our goal. So if you want to move on to the next slide there, Patrick. Now, when we kicked off this campaign, we talked about 4 key priority areas that the institution is focusing on. It's engagement and it's philanthropic activation. Academic and innovation excellence, student first, Husky pride, health and wellness of people and planet. Now, if you ask anybody what our main priority is, it's always going to be students, right? So students first is the main goal, where you'll hear us talk a lot about providing a better opportunity for students at the university. But this breaks down since the inception of the campaign, kind of where the money and the focus has gone since we kicked things off about 5 years ago. So obviously, these are not, to the date dollars, but they are as of last week, as a reminder. And we are at 332 million for academic and innovation excellence, 189 million for students first, Husky pride, 184 million, and health, wellness, people and planet, 81. Now, there's a million things that factor into each one of these categories. So when you see Husky pride, it's not just athletic fundraising. That is a big component of that, but that's a lot of the things that we do in this space as well. Husky pride falls under everything alumni engagement in some way, shape, or form. It also goes to so many different things that do affect students, but in different ways and other components. So it is a holistic approach, and we do have various tenets that fall under each of those. Now, the question people always ask, and I mentioned this earlier, how much of this goes to endowment, how much of this is scholarship, and how much of this is deferred, basically, so people have part of their estate plans and things of that sort. And this kind of breaks that down, this next set of numbers here for you all to kind of understand how much of what we fundraised to this point goes into each bucket. So there's 247 million that have gone into the endowment. We're just roughly under 680 million, I think is the last number I heard, in our endowment. And then scholarship, we've raised 319 million. So that's pretty impressive when you think about that. And then plan giving, which basically is a deferred dollars that'll come in at the time of individuals' passings with estate gifts and things of that sort, comes to about $253 million that the university is expecting at some point, part of those plans. So we're getting there, and you all are having a huge impact on that, and all of the participation that you all have done. I know we have an internal goal of 100% participation in terms of philanthropy. That's $5. We're asking to skip a Starbucks. Heck, I think $5 is cheaper than a Starbucks these days, which I have to come up with a new spiel if you've heard me say that before. But that's all that matters. And if we can build that culture of philanthropy amongst all of you, we know that that will filter down to the next generation of Huskies that you're all engaging for us. So huge thanks again to all of you. Before I jump off and turn this back over, you'll see a link here that we'll share in the chat as well. It's basically an opportunity to share your Because of UConn story. You know that our campaign is titled Because of UConn, the campaign for UConn Nation. All of us have our own moments. Michael, you talked about this from your experiences with Vern just now. Frank, you probably had your own. I know you jumped in there with a few things about Florida and why you participate. Stasia, that's totally what you are all about, the Desert Huskies, right? We know that's your moniker out there in Arizona, right? How do you get them involved? All of you have your own Because of UConn story, and you're participating with us for some reason. You wouldn't just do this because you just wanted to fill your time. Maybe you would, but you have a reason for that. And we want to hear what those are. And we're asking everybody across UConn Nation to contribute their Because of UConn story if they feel obliged to. So we'll drop this into the chat, and we want to hear those. It's an opportunity for you to record your own message, send us a note, whatever it is. And we are building a catalog and a library right now of those stories, and hopefully hope to share those out in some capacity, whether that's on social media, snippets and sound bites at different meetings that we're presenting to the university and other communities within our constituency. But we want to hear those stories. We want to know why you're involved and why UConn means what it does to you, because it all does to all of us in some way. And we just want to know what that unique aspect is for you. So if you feel like you want to do that, we'd love to have it, and we'll get that dropped into the chat. John, I'm seeing a question here for the non-deferred pledges. When will all of the pledges be realized? Well, let's hope that number actually never ceases to exist. That means that people are making plans, and you all and everyone who's participating in that program, have long livelihoods that you can participate in some way, shape, or form. So I can't necessarily say when all of those, because it's dependent on individual and their livelihood in so many ways. So hard to give a full answer to that one. Any other questions I can answer, though, for folks? All right. You guys are letting me off easy. I know you all too well, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. And again, I think this is a great way, again, showing that, again, ways that we can give our time, talent, and treasure for opportunities to help advance UConn. So again, hopefully people are, again, looking to make a philanthropic gift and also sharing their story and their experiences about UConn as well.
I shouldn't have said it because Michael came off mute, so I know he's got something for me.
Yeah, Josh, just real quickly, how are we comparing against other elite institutions? You mentioned that that's the new benchmark. How do we compare against other state U's, against the hated Boston colleges of the world?
We don't care about them. They're in a different league.
Yeah.
So we actually compare ourselves on a variety of levels within our professional organization, and we definitely look at the insights that they, because everybody, most of our schools that we compare and have peers or aspirationals that we look at,
Sure.
because obviously everybody's got to look to somebody to say, okay, they're doing something better than we are. We want to get to that level. We want to mirror some of those aspects. And I think that happens for all the schools that are out there, right? Some schools have been doing this a lot longer than we have. I think you've heard us talk about in the past, if you've been part of this, UConn has only been fundraising for about 35, 40 years in earnest. When you compare the likes of a Michigan who's been doing this for over 100 years, right? So we were late to the game in so many ways. We are in the realm of who we are comparing against, and they are flagship institutions to the like of Michigan's and the Penn States, and trying to think of others, Tennessee, Kansas, the schools you would expect us to throw out.
Yeah,
we are definitely up there. I'd say, if I were to pull a swath of 25 flagship institutions, we'd be somewhere in the 10 to 15 range, probably.
Really? Oh, wow.
In terms of that percentage of participation. So when you're talking about participation, that's everything from what you all are doing as volunteers, making a phone call on behalf of admissions, going to a career fair and representing your company, if we can track that, opening, what am I going to say here? Participating, opening the emails we send you and signing up for an event. That's one of the big things we try to have all of you tell your two friends and bring your two friends. All of those type of things roll into what we're tracking, so that we can really get to that number. But the one thing I will say, though, is that it's not an exact science. While our institutional kind of alignment with our professional organization, the Council for Advancement of Supportive Education, has 4 key buckets that we work towards to try to mirror what other institutions are doing. Every institution tracks things differently, counts things differently, and comes up with a number completely different than we do. It's all about what you can track, what your systems allow for, and what they think is valuable in the process, and what compared to what we think is valuable. So that number is a little bit arbitrary, because we could track 25 other things. Like you all know, if you have an iPhone or if you have Gmail, you know you get a preview of your email right before you open it. Guess what? That actually counts as an open in an email, and some institutions count that, whereas we do not, because that would send us into 8 million tracking of instances, and that's 8 million a year. To be clear, we send 8 million emails. That skew our numbers in a very different direction pretty quickly.
Well, it's still good to see that we've come so far so quickly and it continues to grow. So congratulations, Josh. Great
Well,
job, man.
it's a testament to everything that this group has done. And this team that worked with you all, they work tirelessly to, help spread the word, and you all do the same for us wherever you are. So it's definitely not possible without all of you. So huge thanks to you guys.
Thanks, brother.
All right.
All right. If we have no other questions about the campaign, we'll continue moving on. Again, thank you, Josh, for the information. At this time, we'll turn things over to Sarah Lamazzo, who will provide everyone with a Huskies in Your City update. Sarah.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Patrick, you can move into the next slide. I want to share some numbers with the group. So throughout these months of September and October, many of you all in your regional networks have been participating in the Huskies in Your City series. We are wrapping up with our final 2 events in Chicago and Southeast Connecticut on Thursday to close out this series. And this is, especially for some of the newer volunteers, this is really the only kind of like national campaign series that still remains in alumni relations. UConn Cares is no longer just within the months of April. Elevate and our professional networking programs, not just in the month of February. So with the Huskies in Your City campaign, it really allows us to do the national marketing on social media and through email to really engage, as kind of Josh mentioned, as a key part of that campaign, the next generation of Huskies. So this is the first event that typically pops up for the class of 2025, and we've been trying to do a better job of gathering that data of their non-UConn emails so that they can be part of this series. So yeah, I want to share some great wins that we've had. So like I said, throughout the months of September and October, we've had 15 events across the country, and I want to share gratitude towards the volunteers and you all who have helped make that happen because Patrick, James, and myself, we are not on the ground for most of these. So it is really led by you and your efforts to engage our Huskies in all of these wonderful cities. So from East to West Coast, we've been participating. We've had 360 folks register. And some key numbers that I wanted to pull out, we've had 58 that this was their first time registering for an event. So when we look at those key engagement metrics, anytime we can get new Huskies out and engage with the community, that's a win. So 58 is a phenomenal number, and hopefully we can continue to capitalize on that momentum as we head into Game Watch season. We've had 109 graduates of the last decade. So again, that's a key metric. If we're giving a peek behind the curtain and the work that we do, because that is really, like we said, the next generation of Huskies. And then 15 class of 2025 registrants. So we did a national email to them. We didn't have the full amount of the of probably the class of 2025 unique emails. We had about 1,000. So to be able to work off that is phenomenal testament, and thank you to all who did personal outreach to that group. Like I said, the more we can raise that number throughout the years with getting the most newly minted graduates into the mix, the better, based on where they end up across the country. And then also I wanted to share, being a fundraising organization, every dollar matters, especially in this campaign. So throughout the registration process alone, we had 6 donors that helped us bring in $350, and all of that money went towards scholarships. So it's incredible to showcase what part we're doing. There were QR codes and philanthropic asks in post-event communication. We don't have those final numbers yet. We should be getting those within the next month as we wrap up the series. But truly, again, gratitude to all of you for helping us welcome new Huskies into the fold, engage with with Huskies of all ages. We just love to see the pride across Yukon Nation. As we had mentioned, that's one of the 4 major pillars of this campaign. So thank you all. We have a couple pictures on this slide, but there were some other pictures that we shared throughout the slideshow. So thank you to those who were taking those at the events. And hopefully, we can always continue to grow that number next year as well. Any questions on the Huskies in Your City series? No. All right, then we can move into, I'm going to stay on my soapbox to talk about regional volunteer roles and expectations. So for some of you that were on these calls last year, this might be a reiteration, but especially for some of our newly onboarded volunteers, first and foremost, welcome. But want to make sure everyone is on the same page as we align with our roles and expectations for this year. So us as your liaisons, myself, James, and Patrick, just some key highlights. Anytime anything needs a contract, it goes through our legal process. Many of you who have been with us for a number of years know that that can certainly be a process. We handle all of that on our end. We'll build any of the registration pages that you need and surveys. Through both virtual meetings and in-person meetings, we onboard new volunteers. Love to steward you all as volunteers and thank you for the hard work that you're doing. Especially as we talk about this campaign and our university priorities, our statement of work, we make sure that those align with our regional programs. So certainly helping to secure faculty speakers, alumni speakers, and make sure everything is in alignment and making sure you all feel supported on these events, especially those that we can't be on the ground for. So if you ever have any questions, obviously as your liaisons, we are here to help. But you all as volunteers, you are the core of the work that we do, and we couldn't do it without you. So many of you have served as event leads. For those of you that are new volunteers that have maybe helped with the check-in process and are looking to get more involved and taking the lead on different events, certainly have those conversations with your liaison. We always welcome that enthusiasm. With you all being on the ground in these areas, we don't know these areas that well. So your help in suggesting and securing venues, especially for different social events and game watches, is incredible. I know that James will kind of get into this a little bit, but helping to run those game watches, a lot of our Yukon Cares community service programs and social networking. So whether you just want to do a happy hour at a bar to help engage Huskies, we are happy to help build that out for the registration and you all run that. Like I said, personal outreach, speaking at events, those because of Yukon stories, those are the crux of what people want to hear at events and what we love to share. So we want you to feel empowered to share your story of why you're involved, why you love Yukon, and why you want to do this work with us. And certainly, as I said, anyone that's newly onboarded, we want to help you dip your toes in. We don't want to make you just run an event first thing out of the gate. So helping with the setup and breakdown, checking volunteers in, taking photos at the events. Like I said, all of that really is important to a successful event. So yeah, and then if we move into the next slide, talking about expectations. So we know that this is, of course, a volunteer role, and we are so grateful that you give up your time and energy in order to help us. So individually within your regional networks, you have different calls throughout the year to talk about programming. So the expectation is that you're attending all of those calls and then attending at least one of these volunteer all calls. So for those of you that are on tonight, this would be your one, but hopefully we'll see you at all 3 throughout the year. Because like I said, they're a great way to get that peek behind the curtain. We love bringing in the different speakers for you to interact and engage with as well. Being active in email or text discussions, depending on what communication you've established with your liaison, and then attending all of the events that pertain to what you're the lead on. So if you are the Game Watch King or Queen of your network, helping us to plan those. If you've signed up to help secure the venue, the expectation is that you're there, you're the person that's receiving the swag in the mail and engaging with our Huskies at that event. That goes for Yukon Cares as well. If you've secured the community service initiative, that you are the lead in attending that, and of course attending other events when possible. And then, as Josh alluded to, being strong examples of the philanthropic efforts of our organization. So donating to whichever area that you choose to support. There's so many different funds and so many different initiatives. It doesn't have to be, the Students First Fund or the Because of UConn Endowment, whatever is important to you, even $5 donating every year. And then this will segue nicely into what James is going to talk about, but we want you to feel empowered to reach out to Huskies and get them to your events in your area, especially for ones that, like I said, your liaison isn't going to be attending. You're the face they're going to see. So we want you to certainly feel comfortable and able to reach out, whether that be through email or phone. So we just ask that we have you sign a confidentiality waiver to do that, so that you can make that outreach as well. So again, I just read off a bunch of info at a slide to you guys. I know some of this was a reiteration, so if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat or take yourself off mute, and I'm more than happy to answer. All right. If not, then yes, the confidentiality waiver would be initiated through Adobe Sign, so you would receive a link to sign it electronically. And then from there, we can pull a list for you of first names and typically email addresses that you can work off of to share different upcoming events in your area.
Thanks, Sarah. And again, if anyone does have any questions after tonight's call, feel free to, again, to reach out to your liaison. We're happy to help and help get things processed through for you guys to be successful in programming and reaching out and engaging our graduates. At this time, we'll go ahead and turn things over to James for empowering our regional volunteers.
All right. Hey everyone. So like Sarah said, a lot of what she just talked about segues perfectly into this. The biggest thing with volunteering that we want to express is that it should be fun, right? We should have fun doing the things we want to do. We should pursue programs that we want to pursue. Me personally, I don't necessarily like picking up trash on the side of a road, but I would love to go paint a school or paint a school wall or things like that. So community service, especially, we want to go with the things that you're passionate about. Follow things that are local to your community, whether, it's a local park, things like that. Bring those opportunities to us and we will help you get them set up. With enough lead time, we can get a whole squadron or a whole pack of Huskies out to help you. So we definitely want to do that, and it's a great way to draw people out. We do a lot of game watches and things, and they're a great way to bring people in, but there's a whole side of things. Some people aren't into athletics. So always focus on those community service projects where you can, and try to bring them to us. We'll try to make it work. Most community service projects do need a waiver signed. So really what that entails is just knowing what everyone's doing during the activity, getting a date signed, and just sent over to us. Like you said, we're going through legal process with some of these things. So as long as we have 4 to 6 weeks, we should be able to really turn something for you. The other side of that, game watches, I know we're all passionate about that. I know we're all probably talking about game watch schedules, upcoming games. The important thing to remember there is, if we get these crappy tip-off times sometimes, East Coast 9 p.m. tip, we're not expecting you to do a game watch, right? I have a bedtime, you have a bedtime. So we want to make sure that you're doing games that, say, if you want to do that 9 p.m., great. We'll empower you. We'll send you out all the swag and everything. But if you're only interested in doing Friday night games at 7 p.m. tip, 6 o'clock tip, so you'd be nice back home in bed before 9 p.m., that's great. And we'll love to send you swag there too. So just let us know. Same thing. Empower you. Do the games you want to do. Social networking at venues, that's kind of the same idea. Local bars, breweries, vineyards, things like that. There's a new hotspot in town that you think Huskies would like to come out and see. We want to support you with that. Again, just let us know. A lot of times, especially with our regional volunteers outside of Connecticut, we're doing Google searches and things like that to find these great venues, but you're there. You know what's happening. And so that's why we want to tap into that knowledge and use that to kind of bring the Huskies out. So definitely, again, send that to us. Let us know what you want to see. And if you can find anything that's alumni owned, that's a bonus. On our side of things, I'm looking over at Josh and Patrick here, kind of the ones who approve our events. That's very easy to run up the ladder. So definitely, if you know local Huskies with a local business, send them our way. We want to talk to them. We want to help you run events. We want to help Huskies help Huskies. It's one of my favorite sayings. So definitely keep up with that. And the last thing, and probably the biggest, is the personal outreach. Now, we talked about those confidentiality waivers. We do need those signed off every year. So usually what we try to do that around June when our fiscal year flips, we'll try to reach out to all of you. But if you don't have that, simply send, yeah, like we said in the chat, send that over to us. We can get that started for you. We can get those addresses so you can help us recruit for those next events. A lot of times, people are getting emails from UConn or UConn Foundation all the time. I know you guys sometimes probably get emails from me and you're like, oh, let me put this down for a second. But if you're getting outreach from another UConn alum, it's a different address. It's interesting. You want to look at it, you want to open it. So we want you guys, as you're running these programs, to become the face. So that way, when you're talking to these people or your fellow alumni at events, when you follow up and they see that name, they get excited to see it. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can help. There's all kinds of different opportunities, but really we just want to know that we want you to know that we're empowering you to do the things that you want and to have fun doing it. So with that, I do want to introduce two volunteers that are going to talk a little bit about the empowerment that we've given them. First, we'll hear from Ron, who works closely with Sarah in our Columbus network, and then we'll hear from Melissa, who's part of my pack of Windy City Huskies in Chicago. So Ron, if you'd like to speak about your work with Columbus, we'd love to hear it.
Hi, everyone. Ron Boisvert. I'm kind of in the central Ohio area around Columbus. So basically, I keep in touch with Karen Hemingway in Cincinnati, and we trade notes and share activities a lot. And, we have some shared events and things. So, but she's really the only one I've kind of in touch with who run the group. So, I'm not sure how other groups do things. Maybe they do them the same way, but I try to focus on making sure that the members understand that the group is what you make it and empowering them and reminding them that it originates with them. It's not for me to decide for them or UConn deciding for them what they want to do. So every year we send out a questionnaire and try to assess their interests. Mostly we have two predominant modes of communication. I'm not big on social media, but we have emails and Facebook, and pretty much that's it. But when we send out a questionnaire, of course, we let people know that our goal is to bring fellow alumni and friends together and cultivate school pride and participate in fun activities. So after we get our feedback, then we kind of approach it that way. The activities we focus on are pretty much what you've seen here. They're either UConn-centered events like the game watches, which of course includes road trips, which is pretty cool, or UConn Cares. We have the community service activities, and then we have other social activities like attending non-UConn sporting events, local teams, or simply other social events. One time we went apple picking at Lynn's Fruit Farm and went out for pizza after. So we also let them know there's opportunities for networking, although that's not a lot of that going on with our group. It's pretty, we've known each other for a long time. But there was a member that moved into the area 3 years ago, and he sought us out. And basically we ended up finding him a job. So that's pretty good networking for, moving to an area. Huskies helping Huskies, right? So at the beginning of different sporting seasons, especially basketball, we send out communications, talk about game watches, and list possibilities for people and let them kind of get feedback. Oh, which games do you want to do? These are the ones we think are the most interesting, most relevant. We pretty much keep our events on Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays because we found that attendance is not big in the middle of the week. People don't want to get home at 11 o'clock at night and they got to go to work the next day. So we get really low turnouts. So we really don't bother to do that too much. So after, we decide and get all our ducks in a row, as I'd say, which events we want. We connect with Sarah at the foundation. as we fondly call the mothership, and then they take over and start organizing the promotion and everything, and off we go. Attendance for activities is a little off this year. I think a lot of things going on. Maybe it's a lot of the economic things that are happening. Hopefully that'll eventually get better as we move forward. We're always trying to grow the group. Unfortunately, we keep losing members. People have moved away. We've had one longtime member and his spouse moved to Cleveland. And so, that always takes away something from the group. We've had somebody who's been a part of us for a long time and they're not there anymore. But hopefully we'll be able to get our numbers up in the coming year. And we're right at the cusp of having enough people to be able to do these community service activities, because you need a certain amount of people for a lot of them. When you go to these organizations, they want you to have 6, 8, 10, 12 people or whatever. And if you don't get that, you really can't do it. So anyway, that's what I have to share. If you have any suggestions or feedback, I'd be glad to hear that. So
All right. Thank you, Ron. I'd like to shout out Ron. I mean, Ron does a ton for us in Columbus. I mean, there really would not be a network without Ron. So you do a great job for us. Thank you. I'd like to take some time to introduce Melissa, one of my Chicago Huskies. Take it away.
Great, thanks, James. Yeah, I really appreciate what you had to share before. I think, being on the ground, I've been with the alumni group for, I don't even know exactly how long I've been involved, but I've been a part of it for about the last 10 years, along with Sam and Marty are also on the call. So it's been really great to get to know what is best for the group and, what events are likely to get the most people to attend, that kind of stuff. I can talk a little bit about our our Yukon Cares events. I think, like Ron, attendance really comes and goes. I feel like the basketball ones are definitely the most popular, but I think definitely have had some success. I feel like when Yukon Cares was in April, we were able to really, piggyback off some basketball games and also I think just identify things that work in the community location wise. We've done a food bank, but it was further away. So are there food banks that are closer to where a lot of your people live? Is it accessible by public transportation? And then to Ron's point too, with like not having enough people, we had done a volunteering day. It was picking up trash, so some manual labor, but it was a partnered program with the Shed Aquarium, the Chicago Aquarium, which was really cool. And it was with some other people in the community. So though we did not have the largest numbers, there were still enough other volunteers that were participating to still have a significant impact. So yeah, lots of opportunities. I think crowdsourcing among the different participants is really important and helpful as well. Right.
All right. Thank you, Melissa. Does anyone have any questions or? All right. And I think an important point there was I kind of mentioned it before, but using these athletics opportunities, these even lower touch points game watches is a great door opener to really get people involved. I mean, not everyone is interested in athletics, but most of them have some interest, especially when your Huskies are in city, or in town, if any of you are fortunate to have one of those teams that travel to visit you. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities as they come. We want to support you as much as we can with those events, but definitely we're trying to empower you to send those events to us. So, send them over. We can send them up the ladder. But like I said, I mean, there are different ways, like working with alumni-owned businesses if we can for those social events, just getting in those game watches and community service requests in early so we can do all the work on our back end to promote it properly. And we can do everything that we can to try to draw out all the Huskies around you. So thank you both for presenting.
James, I just have one question. If we have
Definitely.
alumni that are not interested in UConn athletics, do we really want them around? That's being playful. I'm kidding. We're in a golden age right now, so game watchers should be drawing pretty well, I think, going forward. I
They
would think.
should. No, and it's important to remember too. I mean, sometimes it's especially what I would want to say and point out there. Try not to get discouraged in early season if you're doing game watches and maybe they only have a few people. We all know how our Huskies kind of make a charge at the end. We're just expected to win during those early season games anyway. So as we get into the later postseason is really where you see those crowds swell, and that's where we see a lot of these first time attendees come out. So we're part of an athletics program that has postseason for multiple sports. I mean, basketball, baseball, softball. I mean, it looks like football's doing pretty well again. So, just take advantage of these opportunities as they come, and we'll use them to kind of get you in touch with more Huskies. So, thank you again.
Yeah, people will engage, particularly around the NCAA tournament for sure. You
Mhm.
know, that's been my experience in Houston. When they weren't winning, it was really a struggle to get people involved. I was there all the time anyway. I live it. But um, as the team started winning, you started getting that groundswell of interest. So, anyways.
Again, thank you, Ron and Melissa, for being able to share what's going on in your networks. We're going to be going ahead and looking to wrap things up. I know we're just a little bit past time. Want to be able to share the dates with some upcoming calls that we're going to have with the group. Our next winter call is going to be taking place on Tuesday, January 20th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. In the West Coast. And then we're going to be having our spring call on Tuesday, June 23rd. It's again 6 o'clock on the East Coast, 3 p.m. on the West Coast. Zoom links will be provided about a month prior to these calls for people to register. We're also going to be looking to schedule. We saw some good success with the public speaking workshop that we offered last spring. We're going to be looking at offering something similar again that would be helpful for us to engage alumni, but also helping you all out in the world outside of UConn. So we're exploring some different options right now with some faculty members, and there'll be more information shared about that program as that is put together.
Patrick, can I just throw out a quick comment? I know
Yes.
it's a little bit early, but as we're moving into basketball season, just a reminder, hope you guys are planning the Phoenix Women's Basketball Tournament for March Madness. I mean, the men's was a fantastic experience, so just wanted to throw that out in the planning ahead.
Oh, heck
Well,
yeah. I'm already
absolutely.
reaching out to venues. I'm getting ready. Like I said, we're fortunate that we can expect that from our men and women to be in the postseason. So yeah, trust me, we're gearing up for it, trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah, no, likewise. Yeah, we're exploring. We know where the Final Fours, the Frozen Fours, where all the regional sites are. So we're starting our exploration of venues and options and seeing if we have anything that we could look at securing, and if the team does end up playing in that region, that we could use potentially for a future engagement event down the line. So we're definitely doing that due diligence stage. Don't worry.
Where's the Frozen for?
The Frozen Four this year, I believe, is in Las Vegas, Nevada, at T-Mobile Arena.
Okay. Okay.
But there's also regional sites in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Worcester, Massachusetts. There's, I believe, Albany, New York as well, and I can't remember the other location in the Midwest. But there's those locations are out there. So again, as we see opportunities, we'll be definitely coordinating with the respective regional network about potential programming around those games as they come together.
And sorry, Patrick, I just got to correct you. For a kid being from Worcester County, it's not Worcester. It's Worcester County. Worcester. All
Oh,
right.
sorry. The Floridian in me,
What's that?
I just see things and I just pronounce them as they are. I didn't
Okay.
say
Okay.
Worcester.
Not R. All right. We'll learn you how to talk from Massachusetts. It's all right. We'll figure it out.
Any other questions before we wrap up? All right. Again, I know we're a little bit over. Again, appreciate your time and involvement. If you do have any questions that come up, again, feel free to reach out to your liaison. But in the meantime, hope you have a great evening and we'll talk soon. Go Huskies.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks, appreciate you
Go
all.
Huskies.
Thanks much.
Go
Huskies.
Huskies.
Yukon.
Huskies.
Good times, man. Really good times. Take care.
Bye, all.
Thank you.